Today, I've got 6, maybe 7 more reasons why to avoid nursing. Welcome to the Story Weaver After Dark, where true tales of crime, the paranormal, and horror collide with medicine and healthcare commentary, told by a veteran nurse who's seen it all.
Last time, I gave you 5 brutal reasons not to become a nurse. That had you nodding in agreement and some of you frantically Googling career change. Well, buckle up, because this sequel is going to dig even deeper into the dark, frustrating, and absolutely absurd parts of nursing that we all wish someone had warned us about. This isn't the sugar-coated version you get in orientation. This is the stuff that makes nurses cry in supply closets, stare blankly at walls after night shift, and wonder why the hell we didn't go into IT instead. Let's get into it. Let's be clear, bullying in nursing isn't just a personality clash, it's systemic. It's cultural. It's learned behavior that's passed down like some twisted rite of passage. And it doesn't always look like yelling or screaming. Most of the time it's subtle, it's petty, it's quiet sabotage. You ask a question as a new grad and they laugh at you. You request help, and they roll their eyes, then gossip about how incompetent you are in the break room. You walk in to report, and they stop talking. Because they were just talking about you. This is gaslighting with a stethoscope. Sometimes it's the silent treatment during a shift where you desperately need help. Sometimes it's charting comments to make you look bad, or withholding critical information during handoff just to set you up for failure. I once saw a seasoned nurse deliberately leave out a key part of a patient's story and report because the nurse taking over was new and had gotten too full of herself lately. That new nurse ended up in a code situation because of it. Her only mistake? Being competent and confident too quickly. And management? They know it's happening, but they don't address it because the bullies are often the ones with seniority. They train the new hires. They hold the institutional knowledge. So instead of being held accountable, they get protected. The new nurse gets counseled. The experienced bully gets overtime. There's even a term for it in our world. Nurses eat their young. But the truth is, they eat their peers, their subordinates, their mentors. Hell, they'll eat anyone who makes them feel threatened or exposed. And if you're different in any way, your age, race, gender identity, neurodivergence, sexual orientation, or even just your work ethic, you're even more of a target. Bullying in nursing isn't just about hurt feelings. It's about unsafe environments, destroyed morale, and good nurses walking away from the profession altogether. You can be the most compassionate caregiver in the world, but if your co-workers spend all shift undermining you, isolating you, and tearing you down, it won't matter. And this is the part no one talks about. You're not just fighting illness at the bedside. Sometimes, you're fighting the people you work beside. Part of the bully culture can be attributed to mean girl culture. Remember that girl in high school who rolled her eyes at everyone and thought she was better than everyone else? Yeah, she went to nursing school. Not every nurse was a mean girl, but there are quite a few. And now, she's either in charge of the schedule or running your unit like it's a middle school clique. These nurses aren't just catty, they're calculated. They form tight circles, freeze out anyone who isn't part of their pack, and climb the ladder by stepping on the backs of better nurses. I've worked with nurses who said, "I'm never cleaning up a patient. That's what CNAs are for," while they were still in school. They graduate, go straight into nurse practitioner programs or slide into management, all while looking down their noses at bedside nurses like they're less than. And here's a real story. At one hospital, these mean girl nurses took over the committee in charge of selecting recipients for the patient-nominated Nursing Excellence Awards. Now, these awards were supposed to go to bedside nurses based on real compliments patients submitted. But once the clique took over, they threw out every submission that wasn't about one of them. And here's the kicker. They weren't even bedside anymore. They were in management. They were literally giving themselves awards for bedside excellence while the rest of us, who were busting our asses day in and day out, got nothing. I had patients tell me they nominated me, but I never saw a single award. My friend on the committee, she tried to fight for fairness. She was silenced, completely drowned out by the clique. So if you think hard work always gets recognized in nursing, think again. Sometimes all it gets you is ignored. Let's talk about doctors. Now, I've worked with some truly wonderful ones, but I've also worked with the kind who treat nurses like disposable assistants, who throw tantrums in the nurse's station and who see no problem making your life a living hell because they know they can get away with it. One time I saw a doctor yank a phone out of the wall because he didn't want to be bothered again. Another deliberately turned off a patient's alarm so he could yell at the nurse for missing it. That's not just toxic, it's dangerous. But here's the worst part. There's no recourse. You report it, administration shrugs. That's just how he is. You ask for protection. They tell you to de-escalate better. Why? Because hospitals will always prioritize protecting doctors over nurses, always. They bring in the money, they sign off on procedures, they're seen as irreplaceable. You're expected to endure it, smile through it, and show up again tomorrow like it didn't happen. And if you work night shift, prepare to be treated like absolute garbage for simply doing your job. You call with a critical update at 2 a.m., and you'll be greeted with sarcasm, yelling, or dead silence and a slammed receiver. Let's talk about the fluids. If you don't know by now, in nursing everything leaks. You'll get peed on, puked on, pooped on, and sneezed on. Snot rockets will fly at your face. Blood will splash on your shoes. But this isn't just gross, it's hazardous. I once had a patient cough while I was removing an IV. The catheter flicked out and blood hit me square in the eye. I was wearing glasses, but that tiny gap was all it took. I had to go through the entire exposure protocol, testing for HIV, hepatitis, and every other bloodborne pathogen under the sun. Then you wait, for months, to find out if your life has changed forever because of a single moment. They don't put that part on the brochures for nursing programs. And certain infections, you can smell them before you even walk into the room. Some bacteria and illnesses, C. diff, pseudomonas, GI bleeds, have odors you'll never forget. They cling to your clothes. They haunt your dreams. This is the side of nursing no one romanticizes, but it's a very real, very dangerous part of the job. Let's talk about our image. First, the TV shows. Grey's Anatomy is the biggest offender. Nurses don't exist on that show. Doctors push meds, hang fluids, even sit with patients during a crisis. In reality, most doctors spend 15 minutes a day in the room, if that. Nurses are there all shift, every shift. And when a doctor does come into the room, 9 times out of 10, the nurse is right there with them. But on TV, we're erased. Then there's the other kind of media, the kind that puts us in costumes. You know the ones I'm talking about. Nurses have become a fetish. We're portrayed as sexy, dumb, subservient little sidekicks in Halloween costumes. We've been reduced to punchlines and fantasies, while the real work we do, the life-saving, patient-advocating, trauma-handling work, is ignored. This media portrayal filters into real life. Patients flirt with us, talk down to us, assume we're just nurses, without understanding we're the ones keeping them alive. It's not just annoying, it's degrading, and it affects how the public treats us. Want to show a little personality? Too bad. Most hospitals still ban visible tattoos. I've known nurses forced to wear bandages on their arms to cover ink, even if the tattoos were positive, beautiful, or deeply meaningful. Hair color? Better be natural. Scrubs? Nope. You don't get to choose the color anymore. Some facilities assign one color per department like we're crayons. There's no individuality, no comfort, and no real explanation except outdated ideas of what professionalism looks like. The irony? You're saving lives. But heaven forbid you have a purple streak in your hair or wear scrubs with sunflowers. So hospitals never close. That means you don't get to either. You will be working holidays, and if you're new, you don't get to choose which ones you work. But it's not just holidays. Staffing is so short you'll have trouble getting any vacation approved. Birthdays, anniversaries, family reunions. You're not just missing them, you're often told to stop asking. Let me tell you about one Thanksgiving. We were promised a full meal for night shift. The hospital sent out a message to all of us. Don't bring food. Dinner will be provided. So we didn't. But when night shift came in, there was nothing left. Day shift had brought in their families. They'd gone back for seconds and thirds. There was no turkey, no sides, not even bread. We had nothing. And because it was Thanksgiving, everything was closed. We couldn't order food. We couldn't go anywhere. We sat there, tired, hungry, and completely forgotten. There's no respect, no thanks. Just an expectation to suck it up. This one's a little lighter, but still real. You used to love medical dramas. House, ER, even Scrubs. Now, you scream at the screen. The CPR is wrong. The meds are wrong. The timelines are impossible. And where are the nurses? You become the person who pauses episodes to explain why a procedure would kill someone. You roll your eyes every time a doctor walks into a room and magically saves a patient without any support staff. Medical dramas used to be fun. Now they're just another reason your blood pressure's going up. Nursing is not for the faint of heart, and it's not for people who expect respect, recognition, or regular holidays. If you're going into this field, you need to know the truth. The real truth. Not the Instagram version. Not the career day brochure. This job will test your patience, your limits, and your soul. And while there are moments of meaning and connection, there are also moments where you'll wonder if any of it is worth it. Thanks for watching The Story Weaver After Dark. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment if you've experienced any of these brutal truths yourself. I see you. I hear you.